Well, I think predates my time at the chamber. The idea to have some sort of signifier for the gateway area. It goes, I think, go back to 2008 or so when we were going to have the Olympic trials here, and they wanted to do something to signify the area, since, of course, there'd be so many guests coming into the area to stay in the hotels in the gateway area for that event. And so the first concept was called Flags Over Springfield, or maybe it was Flags Over Gateway, but I think it was Flags Over Springfield. And it was going to be 3 flags, one of them in the center, taller than the 2 that would flank it, but very tall flags. And I'm not even sure what flags those flagpoles would have been flying. Probably the United States flag, and I would guess the state flag and something else. I don't know. But anyway, that project never really got off the ground. And then eventually it circled back to saying we still need to do something here. And that's when the idea for what has now become known as the Springfield Flame came about. And it was from the outset, the idea was to have, once again, a signifier there, but a more kind of solid piece than this flags concept that existed. The Springfield Chamber's involvement has been through the Gateway Development Committee, which is one of the 6 committees we have as part of the Springfield Chamber of Commerce. And that committee looks specifically at issues in the Gateway area. It was formed, I'm not sure what year it was formed, that committee was formed, but it was formed to look at that area as it's the fastest growing area of Springfield. We figured we should have a committee that represents that. And of course, we have a lot of major employers for our area in the Gateway area as well. So the role of the committee, I think, has largely been keeping the project alive while it was kind of figured out exactly how it could be done. And so for myself, my personal involvement is I took over as a liaison for that committee a little less than 2 years ago, and have had several, meetings at the Gateway Development Committee about keeping that project alive, as well as convened many meetings outside of that committee with the mayor and others to make sure we're just moving forward and doing that, particularly once we determined that we'd approach ODOT to see if they would be willing to do, sell or even donate that land to the project that where the flame will be located, which is the southwest corner of the intersection of Gateway and Beltline. Now, the city has been certainly the leader on this, especially once we kind of figured out that they would be able to be the funding agency without having to send the process out to bid. And I'm not exactly sure how that all worked out, but they did their research and found out that because of the way this project is working, we can go with the original design we had, the artists we want, as opposed to sending it out for bid, et cetera, et cetera. So once that was kind of found that the city could be the lead financial agency of the project, they've really taken the reins of it, and so the chamber's falling into more of a support role. I think that support role is going to heighten now that we know the project is coming to fruition, essentially, that ODOT's going to, the land deal will happen, and there's funding in there as well that can be acquired because of the kind of public art requirement of state highway projects. And so, but there's still going to need to be some private sector funding as well, I think, particularly in towards the base and the grounds for that. And so now I think the chamber will once again start to have more of a significant role. We helped keep it rolling, and then now that it is rolling, I think we're going to help, be that liaison with the private sector to get the funding for the rest of the project to make sure it does come to completion. I think many of the business owners in the area are very willing and ready to participate because they see it as a boon to their area. It's going to be a signifier. Right now, I think, there's, you ever go in that area, you're on I-5, you see that there's thousands upon thousands of cars that go by that piece of highway every day along that I-5 corridor. And many of them commute and do that regularly. Doesn't mean they're stopping. But the ones that do stop, I think, if they're not from here and they're not really paying that much attention, Eugene's name is a little bit more known than Springfield. I think many people don't realize that they're actually in Springfield when they pull off there. And this will be a way for Springfield to let everybody know you're in Springfield. Thank you for stopping. So that's, I think, a very big plus. I think it will also actually encourage more people to pull off the road because it's a unique identifier. If you can pull off in almost anywhere USA and find a place that looks a little bit like Gateway, but you'll only now be able to pull off one place that has a 60+ foot tall stainless steel flame greeting you when you do so. It'll be a signifier for the area, and I think that's one of the things that's going to set this little stretch of I-5, that particular intersection of I-5, apart from all those little places that anybody's going to pass through on their route up and down I-5. So, and if you're a business, you say, well, if you're giving directions for somebody how to find you, well, when you see the big flame, that's where you want to get off. It's something that's going to be visible from I-5. So I think it will stimulate the economy in the area, which is already doing well regardless, but let's have it do that much better. And I think it's something that will just be an asset to the community as a whole as well, because it'll help put Springfield more on the map. So I think it's very hard to actually try to predict numbers from what will the economic impact be of the creation of this structure, this Springfield Flame. And however, I think since the retailers and other businesses and hoteliers and other businesses in the area are in favor of this, I believe they must think it could impact their bottom line and be a benefit to them to have it there. How you can predict exactly what that be, I think it's very difficult to tell. I don't know that it'll necessarily make more local traffic, in other words, getting more people from, say, Eugene to come over to the Gateway area, but I do think the impact will mostly come from getting more travelers to stop by, that meet people that might have been coming down the I-5 and wouldn't have pulled over, but now they do pull over. And, the thing is to get them to pull over for the first time. You get them to pull over for the first time, they satisfy their curiosity about what is that thing, but now they've stopped, they see what's in the area, and they say, oh, I didn't know this was here, I can stop here for this, whether it's, a lot of travelers seem to like Panera, for whatever reason, probably because it's a place they know they can get a decent meal that's not fast food. And so now they pull over, and now they say, oh, there's a Panera in this area, so that's good to know. I'm passing through, I'm hungry, I get that, because I don't want to eat fast food. So, of course, for people like fast food, they say, oh, every fast food thing in the world I want is right here as well. Or it might be that they see something else that makes them say, oh, this is definitely worth pulling over as I'm doing this. Because, a lot of that traffic is people that do travel up and down the I-5 as their part of their job or work regularly. But do they pull over? I don't know. So that's, I think, where we'll see the long-term economic impact. The toughest thing to get somebody to do is pull over the first time. Once you get them the first time, you hopefully can hook them.